My mother-in-law decided to help by updating our family calendar. "You're just so forgetful," she smirked. But when I discovered she'd removed every event related to my friends and family, my response left her stunned. I live in Kansas City. My husband, Adam, and I have been married for 8 years. We have 2 kids, and we both work full-time. He's in IT for a logistics company downtown, and I manage a dental office. Things are usually chaotic, but manageable. My MIL, Nancy, lives about 20 minutes away. She's one of those women who can smile while cutting you down at the knees. Always just trying to help, always didn't mean it like that, always has an oops ready when she crosses a line. I tried. I really tried. I went along with her little jabs. I let her reorganize my kitchen drawers after I had just finished labeling everything. I ignored the fact that she accidentally told people I was laid off when I had only taken a month off after my second kid. I let it slide when she invited Adam's ex to our daughter's first birthday party, just to be polite. But what she did last winter took everything to a whole new level. We use a big dry erase wall calendar in the kitchen. It's how we survive. Between school functions, soccer practice, dentist appointments, and dinner plans, that calendar is our lifeline. We write everything down on it. It's color-coded. Each person in the house has their own color. A couple weeks before Christmas, I had to leave town for a dental conference in Denver. I was only gone for 3 days. Nancy offered to stay with Adam and help out with the kids. Against my better judgment, I agreed. She said she wanted to help straighten up around the house. When I got back, the place looked fine. Nothing obviously broken or moved. But a couple days later, I glanced at the calendar, and I just froze. My cousin Tara's baby shower? Gone. My sister's birthday dinner? Gone. My annual coffee catch-up with my 2 college best friends? Wiped. The kids' playdate with my friend Jamie's twins? Erased. All of it was gone. In its place? Adam's team dinner, mom visits, Carol's church fundraiser, Adam's haircut, and pick up Nancy. Let me be clear. I don't care if Adam wants to go to a dinner or get a haircut. I do care that MY family and MY friends were deleted like they didn't exist. So I asked him, hey, did you erase anything on the calendar? Adam, no, why? Me, some of my stuff is missing. Adam, maybe one of the kids. Me, they'd need a ladder, Adam. Adam, true, wait. My mom did clean up the kitchen. Maybe she thought she was helping. Helping, that word. That smug little word. I called her. Calm. Civil. I asked if she had erased anything from the calendar. Nancy, oh, that old thing? It was so messy. You couldn't even read half of it. I thought I'd clean it up while I was there. Me, you erased all of my stuff. Nancy, I didn't know it was yours. I just assumed you forgot what was important. You're so busy all the time, I thought you'd appreciate a little help. You're just so forgetful sometimes. She actually smirked through the phone. I could hear it. And that's when something in me snapped a little. Forgetful? I was the only one in the house who kept track of everyone else. Adam can barely remember our anniversary. I know when every dentist appointment is, every family gathering, every school spirit day. I work full-time, run a household, and manage 2 kids, and I was being told I'm forgetful by someone who still asks how to attach files to emails. I didn't scream. I didn't rage. I just made a plan. It started with another offer. A week later, Nancy came over again and offered to help decorate the house for Christmas. I said yes. She was thrilled. I gave her free rein on the front room and the stairs. She loved the praise. While she was busy hanging garlands and fluffing wreaths, I was taking pictures of every room in the house. And then I started phase 2. I began helping her, just like she helped me. I offered to set up her new iPad. She gave me the passcode. I synced it with a shared calendar, our family calendar, but only from my email. She didn't know this. She thought it was still the same old shared Gmail. I told her we'd share events so she could always be in the loop. So you don't miss anything again, I said sweetly. Then I gave her what she wanted, all of the events. Every dog grooming appointment, every grocery run, every little errand Adam, or I mentioned out loud, I wrote it in. But I put them all down as Nancy pick up groceries, Nancy bring cupcakes to bake sale, Nancy babysit twins, Nancy help organize garage. Within a month, she was double booked, triple booked, and endlessly confused. She called Adam one day and said, "Why do I have to pick up your dry cleaning and help Jessica's friend paint her house? What's going on with this calendar?" He said, "Ask me. She's the one managing it now." She called me, frantic. "Nancy, I think something's wrong with my calendar. It says I'm supposed to be at your house all day tomorrow." Me, "Oh, didn't we talk about that? You said you'd help with the yard cleanup. It's been on the calendar for 2 weeks." Nancy, "I didn't agree to that." Me, "Oh no, you must have forgotten again. Don't worry. I'll remind you next time." Silence. I did this for 3 more weeks. No screaming, no confrontation, just slow chaos. Eventually, I let her discover that she wasn't synced to the real family calendar. The actual one with all of her made-up obligations was fake. I showed her that we'd kept all our real events private after her calendar cleanup. I showed her how much she'd missed, and how much she'd inserted herself. She turned red. Said I'd tricked her. Said I was cruel. I looked her in the eye and said, "Now you know how it feels when someone helps without asking." And that was it. She still comes over, but she doesn't touch the calendar. She asks before organizing anything now. And me? I never forgot what she tried to erase. So after the calendar revenge, Nancy backed off. For a while. She didn't say much, didn't confront me. She just went back to her usual passive-aggressive self. Fewer digs, fewer phone calls. But I could feel it. The silence wasn't peace. It was just a quiet storm gathering behind her eyes. About a month later, we were all at Adam's cousin's house in Overland Park for a New Year's party. Nancy was working the room like usual, laughing just a little too loud, calling Adam her sweet boy like he was still 12. Then she did it. Right there in front of a bunch of Adam's extended family, including people I barely knew, she said, "So glad, let me back into the calendar." I was starting to feel like she thought I wasn't part of the family anymore. Everyone laughed politely. I forced a smile. Then she turned to Adam and said, "You'll have to show me where she hides the real one next time, honey." I froze. So she knew. She'd been digging. Probably snooping in Adam's phone. And worse? She didn't care. She was bragging about it like she'd caught me in something evil. Like I was the bad guy for trying to get her to respect boundaries. And that's when I realized something important. She was going to keep pushing. She wasn't just a busybody. She was obsessed with control. She wanted to insert herself in every corner of our lives, even if it meant gaslighting me and playing innocent after. And Adam wasn't helping. Adam's never been a bad guy, but he's a peacemaker. He avoids conflict like it's fire. When Nancy would start something, he'd shrug. "She's just old-fashioned," he'd say. Or, "That's just how she is." Every time I tried to set boundaries, he'd back me up quietly, never in front of her. So one night, I sat him down. "Adam, I can't keep fighting this battle alone." "Adam, what battle?" "Your mom. The calendar. The comments. The games. You saw what she said at the party." "Adam, she was just joking." "Stop. Stop excusing her. She crossed a line. Again. And you didn't say anything." "Adam, I didn't want to make a scene." She made a scene, Adam. I'm just the one who didn't pretend it was funny." He was quiet. He didn't know what to say. That made it worse. So I gave him an ultimatum, not the kind where I storm out or say it's me or her. I'm not that dramatic. But I told him, "I need to feel like you're on my team. Out loud. In public. Not just in private." He promised he'd do better. I wanted to believe him. But Nancy wasn't done. A couple weeks later, she started inviting me to her church women's group. Now, I don't mind church. I believe in God. But Nancy's church is intense, judgmental. The kind where they ask what kind of clothes you wear and why your children don't go to their school. I politely declined. So she tried a different tactic. She invited them to my house. Without telling me. I came home from work on a Tuesday to find 4 strange women sitting at my kitchen table, sipping tea out of my mugs, talking about the power of surrendering your home to God. I stared at them, then at Nancy. Me, what is this? Nancy, oh, I told them you'd love to host. You're always so busy. I thought you could use some uplifting company. I lost it. I asked them to leave, politely, but firmly. I told Nancy she had no right to invite people into my home without asking. That this was a final warning. She got quiet again. That scary quiet. The one where she smiles too much and says things like, "You're under so much stress, dear." And then she went nuclear. 3 days later, I got a forwarded email from one of Adam's aunts. It was a concerned message from Nancy. The email said she was worried about my mental health. She wrote that I had been paranoid, controlling, and prone to angry outbursts. She said she feared I was isolating the children from their extended family. She said I had erased Adam's identity and that I used the calendar as a weapon. She CC'd 4 of Adam's relatives and one of her church friends. I was shaking. This woman had literally weaponized the calendar situation against me, painted me as the villain. And she didn't even send it to me directly. I didn't reply. I just printed it out and showed it to Adam when he got home. He read it in silence. Then he looked at me and said, "Adam, I don't know who this person is anymore." Finally, he called her that night. I only heard his side, but I could tell it was serious. He told her she had crossed a line. That we were a family, and what she did wasn't love, it was control, wrapped in guilt and manipulation. He said we were taking a break. No visits. No dropping by. No more help. She cried. Or pretended to. He didn't budge. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. We went no contact with Nancy after the email. No Sunday dinners. No, just dropping by. No calls. She still sent gifts to the kids, but I kept them in a closet, unopened. I didn't want anything from her in our space. Adam didn't argue. He was distant, quiet, clearly hurt, maybe embarrassed too. But he stood by the decision. About 2 months passed. One Saturday morning, Adam got a letter in the mail. Not a text, not an email. A letter. Handwritten. Mailed from just across town. It was from Nancy. "Dear Adam," it started. "I know you won't answer my calls, and I understand why. But I want you to know I forgive you. And I forgive me too. Families should never let outsiders tear them apart." Outsiders. I wasn't even named. The letter rambled. Talked about his childhood. About when things were simpler. About how she wanted him to remember who he was before things changed. Then came the last line. "I'm leaving you something important. You'll understand soon." We both stared at that for a while. Adam didn't want to call her. I told him not to. Let her sit in her guilt, if she had any. We moved on. Or we tried to. 2 days later, a package showed up at our door. A plain brown box, no note. Inside, a single photo album. Old. Dusty. Wrapped in one of Nancy's scarves. The album was filled with pictures of Adam as a baby, toddler, teenager. With Nancy, his dad, who died when he was 14, and a few cousins. Then halfway through, tucked in the sleeve of a random photo, a letter. This one was dated 1991. It wasn't from Nancy. It was to Nancy. From a woman named Denise. We didn't know a Denise. The letter was full of emotional writing, talking about a betrayal, about a boy who deserved to know the truth, about how she couldn't stay quiet anymore. There were lines like, "You took him from me. You said he'd be better off. I thought we had agreed. I gave him up so he could have a better life, not so he'd never know me. Adam read it 3 times. His hands were shaking. Me, do you know what this means? Adam, I don't know. No. No way. Me, is it possible? Is she talking about you? Adam, I don't know. We confronted Nancy. Despite our no-contact rule, Adam said we needed answers. So he called. She didn't pick up. He texted. No reply. So he went over. I stayed home. He said he wanted to do it alone. He came back 3 hours later, pale, quiet. Then he told me everything. Nancy had been best friends with Denise in the early 80s. Denise got pregnant young, unmarried, unstable. Nancy and her husband had just lost a child late in pregnancy. According to what Nancy finally admitted, and what she swore was a mutual agreement Denise gave Adam to Nancy and her husband to raise as their own. No adoption paperwork. Just a quiet exchange. And a story that Adam was born early, and Nancy needed bed rest so no one saw her pregnant. Denise tried to stay involved, but Nancy kept pushing her out. Said it was confusing for Adam. Said she'd call the police if Denise kept showing up at school or church events. Eventually, Denise moved out of state. Nancy never told Adam. But she kept the letter. Hid it. And when we cut her off, when she realized Adam was slipping from her control, she planted it in that album and mailed it to us. Like a test. I don't know if she wanted to blow up her life or just make Adam feel lost without her. Maybe both. He didn't talk to her again after that. But we did track down Denise. She's still alive. Living in Oregon. Teaches art at a middle school. No kids of her own. She cried when Adam called. She had no idea he even knew she existed. They're talking now. Slowly. Carefully. I haven't met her yet. Nancy? She's been calling nonstop. Sending letters. Leaving voicemails that swing between "I'm your mother" and "that woman ruined everything." But Adam has made his choice. We're rewriting the calendar now for real this time. A whole new system. A whole new year. And this time, Nancy's not in it. After Adam found out Nancy had lied to him his whole life, things between them broke. Completely. She kept calling, crying, begging, leaving messages like, "I raised you, Adam. I did what was best for you. She's turning you against me. She's jealous of our bond." That last one hit a nerve. Because even after everything, the manipulation, the calendar lies, the email smear campaign, she still found a way to make me the villain in her head. I told Adam, block her. All of it. Cut it off. He hesitated. He was still hurting. Part of him wanted to believe she was just scared, just misguided. But he finally did it. Blocked her number, her email, her church friends. We both needed time to heal. And for a few months, we had it. We even flew out to Oregon and met Denise in person. She was kind, gentle, nervous. She cried when she hugged Adam. And weirdly, even though the whole situation was messed up, it felt peaceful. Like something had finally landed where it belonged. But Nancy wasn't done. It was Adam's aunt who gave us the heads up. Nancy was planning a huge retirement party at the community hall downtown. She'd invited nearly everyone in the extended family. It was going to be her big moment. Her, "I'm still the queen of this family" moment. And I'll admit it, I was angry. Still. But I wasn't going to go. I wanted to move on. Then the invite came. It was hand-delivered. With a sticky note. No hard feelings. Hope to see you there. That was it. After everything she'd done. A sticky note. Adam read it and walked straight to the trash can. Tossed it in. Didn't say a word. But I couldn't stop thinking, and that's when I made my mistake. I wanted closure. Real closure. Not just cutting someone off. I wanted to end the game. All of it. So I showed up. I didn't go alone. I brought Denise. We walked in together, side by side. Nancy was across the room, laughing with a glass of wine. She saw us. She froze. The room quieted. All eyes on us. I stepped forward. Me, thought it was time everyone knew the real reason Nancy retired. Someone snickered. Another person whispered, "What's going on?" Me, you all know Nancy as a devoted mom, right? But did you know she's also a liar? I pulled out the letter from Denise. The original. Me, she stole someone else's child. Kept him. Lied to her family, her son, and even the woman who trusted her. Denise stepped forward, voice shaking. "Denise, I'm Adam's biological mother. Nancy took him from me and shut me out. I tried for years." People gasped. Someone dropped a glass. Nancy stormed over. "Nancy, you're ruining everything. This is my night." Me, you ruined your own legacy the day you started erasing people. Nancy, I gave him a better life. Me, you gave him a life built on lies. And you tried to destroy mine because you couldn't control it. She slapped me. Right there, in front of everyone. Gasps. Silence. Adam stepped forward from the back of the room. He had come after all. He didn't say a word. He just stood between me and Nancy. And then he turned around. Faced the whole room. "Adam, this is the last time I'll ever say this. Nancy raised me, yes. But she also hurt me. Lied to me. Tried to ruin my wife. And when I found the truth, she made herself the victim." He looked at her, calm but cold. "Adam, we're done. Don't contact me again." He took my hand. Then he hugged Denise. We left. Nancy didn't chase us. She just stood there, silent, humiliated, surrounded by people who now looked at her like a stranger. We moved 6 months later. New state. New jobs. New home. We still talk to Denise every week. She visits often. The kids call her Grandma D. They don't ask about Nancy anymore. Nancy sent one last letter. No apology. Just a note saying she hoped Adam would remember who really loved him. I didn't let him read it. I burned it. And maybe that was my final mistake. I made the call for him. But I've made peace with it. Because some people don't deserve the last word.